Okay, so let's go ahead and look at how you can solve for missing parts on a right triangle. So first, what's important to know is the different terminology that you use whenever you're looking at a right triangle. So if you're looking at this angle right here where it says x degrees, if we're looking at this angle, then the side opposite is going to be directly across from it. So it's the side that's not touching that angle. And then the side that is adjacent is the side that is touching the angle right here. So you might be asking yourself, well, isn't the hypotenuse also considered a side that's adjacent to this angle? Well, the hypotenuse has its own particular word. You always use the hypotenuse based on how it's located from the 90-degree angle. So the hypotenuse is always opposite from the 90-degree angle. And now with those three vocabulary words, you can easily identify what part of the triangle you are looking for, and so it makes it easy to understand. So knowing these three words and where they're located depending on which angle in the triangle you're looking at. Okay, so let's solve some examples. Okay, so on this slide, we're going to solve for tangent of angle R right here. So something that you probably have heard of or might be familiar with is with the phrase or the mnemonic. I think it's considered a mnemonic. I don't know the English word for it, but SOHCAHTOA. So I think it's a mnemonic. SOHCAHTOA is a way for you to remember the trig functions and what it's a ratio of. So for example, the first one with S, that's telling you that sine is the ratio of the opposite over the hypotenuse, and cosine is a ratio of the adjacent side over the hypotenuse, and tangent is a ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent side. So on this question, if we are asked to find tangent of angle R, tangent is going to be the ratio of opposite over adjacent. So if we look at the triangle that we're given, the side opposite to angle R is 20. And then the side adjacent to angle R is 12. So here all we need to do is simplify the fraction, or if you want, you could convert it into a decimal. So here we could simplify by 4. So if we simplify by 4, we get 5/3. So you could say tangent of R is 5/3. And that's how you would solve that one. Okay, let's look at this one. So on this one, you're asked to find the measure of angle X. So what you want to ask yourself is, what information are you given? So this side that is listed as 8, that's the opposite. And then the side that is given the 10 would be the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is going to, because we have the opposite and we have the hypotenuse, we would want to use the sine function. So we know that sine is going to be the opposite over the hypotenuse. So I can replace those variables with the numbers. So that's 8/10. And now what I can do is, you don't have to simplify when you plug this into the calculator. You can if you want. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the inverse sine function. And if you look on your under the trig functions, it's going to have a little -1 as an exponent. So you're going to plug that into your calculator and then type in 4/5. You might have to just do 4 divided by 5 since a fraction is just telling you to do division. And let me pull that up. Okay, hang on. All right, I'm a little bit new to the app that I'm using right now, so that's why it's kind of taken me a little bit to figure this out. But I paused and I went to my calculator and I plugged this in. So x is about 53.13 degrees. Sorry, not 53. Yes, 53. Okay. 53.13 degrees. I'm going to use the squiggly here to show that it's about that much. All right, this next example, and this is the last example that I'll go over. So on this example, we're asked to find the length of y. So you're going to ask yourself again, what information is given to you? And I didn't even realize before doing this that all of these were going to be using this sine function, but that's okay. So opposite from the 57 degrees is y. So this is our opposite. And then we know that the 15 is our hypotenuse because we see the 90-degree angle. So then what you're going to do here is you're going to say that sine of the angle of 57. So basically now we're just setting up our ratio. Sine of 57 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and we can replace that with y over 15. So let me rewrite this. So basically we are going to look at this as being a one-step equation, and we want to solve for y. So if I want to eliminate the 15 that's in the denominator, I would multiply by 15 on both sides. That way this 15 will cancel out, and then I'm left with the value of y. So when I plug that into my calculator, I get that y is equal to, or I'm going to say again, about 12.58. All right, sweet. And last thing I want to say is if you're using a scientific calculator, make sure that your calculator is in degree mode before you start doing this. All right, I hope this was helpful.